Based on Gimel, Sif Gimel, Shiur 7 and 8. Says the Mechaber, Hamashkim Ebayke, if someone gets up in the morning, and he sees that his tafshil is getting burnt out, the kdicha is getting dried out. He's worried that it's going to get burnt more. So what do? Yechiel hasir, you can take it off. You can take off the pot. So what's happening here is you left your pot shehir. It's not gorah for kotum. You left it on top of the fire erev Shabbos, and it's mutter. We're going now that it's a special called tzarchai, or like Hananya was kamacha ben derasoi. So you took the. So what happened is the shehir was mutter, but if you leave it there, it's going to get burnt. So you want to do is you want to take it off the fire, and basically do a gorah for kotum now. That's what you're doing here. You're making a gorah for kotum on Shabbos. So then, so you can do it. You can put an empty pot on top of the stove, top of the fire. For us, Yosem Hakadeira Shatavshol B'Teicha Agabe Hakadeira Rekonis. And then you could put it on top of the empty pot. So what's happening here is you're covering the kira on top. You're making a gorah on Shabbos, and then you're putting the pot on. And then Chazara is mutter. It's Chazara al Gabi gorah for kotum. So you don't have to have there was gorah for kotum from erev Shabbos. You could make a gorah for kotum on Shabbos, which you can do today even. You left something on a hot plate. It wasn't. If you hold, you have to have gorah for kotum on a hot plate. So you forgot to put a silver foil there. You take it off on Shabbos. You can put a silver foil down on top of the hot plate, and then you could do Chazara if you want.
But it has to be Mashal Tzarcha. It can't be Machal Ben Drasai.
Yeah. Chazara has to be Mishal Tzarcha. Yeah.
It can't be Machal Ben Drasai either.
No.
Right.
It has to be the special called Tzarcha for Chazara.
Is the silver foil is enough?
Let's say it is enough. Foil, let's say is enough.
I would never see that once it come to
if
you.
If it's gorah for kotum, that's called gorah for kotum. The person said that foil on a hot plate today is called gorah for kotum.
So what about any separation?
Any separation.
Like if you take the grate from the oven and you put it on top of the platter.
The grate from the oven, you have to know because there's holes in it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's enough. I'm not sure that'll be enough.
More.
I'm not sure that'll be enough. Yeah, I'm not sure that'll be enough.
If you say that the act of turning the pot over is gorah b'kotum, right?
Yeah.
Well, not even gorah, it's kotum.
Yeah.
Right. So then a grill wouldn't be good enough because the whole idea of kotum is to minimize
the heat.
heat.
I don't think a grate will be good enough.
Foil will not.
Foil covers the whole thing.
Foil covers. But that's a very good conductor.
Foil covers the whole thing.
That's another problem.
Every black, all blacks. What is this? It's a piece of metal.
Right.
That's a piece of metal on top of a fire. It also conducts heat. That's called.
I think what he's actually getting at is the fact that there's a little bit of a spacing between the elements and the actual top part.
Yeah, so who said that's enough?
So, well, that's what I mean. So you take the grill thing out of the.
I don't know if that's enough.
Spacing.
I don't know if that's enough. I'm not sure if that's enough.
So this gives us a answer to, if we forgot to put the blech on before Shabbos,
right.
we could put a blech on.
Correct. If someone forgot to put the blech on, someone has a fire, regular fire on, and the soup is on the
fire.
On the fire. And it says beheter, shehir beheter. You're allowed to take it off and put the blech on Shabbos, and then put the pot back on. There's no issue of making gorah for kotum on Shabbos.
But doesn't it affect the flame, like the oxygen in the flame?
So it affects the flame. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Brew
brings it down.
Brew brings down that the problem is that
can't put it out.
to move some of the coals in the process of removing.
No, the shorts also. Yeah, we're not being over any issue of havara. The Spiro brings down over here. I think Spiro brings down over here.
I know that's a good boy.
Yeah, there's a big Mishnah.
Right, the previous system.
Someone brings down over here. That you have to be careful. You put a kedera on top of the fire and you close up the whole hole.
You snuff it out.
And you snuff out the fire. That's a problem. We're not talking about. There's no problem of the fire. There's no problem of avora. Without those problems, you can make a gorah for kotum on Shabbos. So you do is you put an empty pot on top of the kira, and then you return it. Chazara is mutter. Vi Zohar says the Mechaber Shelo Yosim Kedei Rasa Agabi Karka Shtir Sachas. The Mechaber says you have to have Tanai Chazara, because only Chazara is mutter here. The sin of the Chatchila is not mutter. So you put the empty pot here, you put back the pot with the food on top of the empty pot, but you have to have Tanai Chazara. Therefore, the Mechaber who says before, it's based, the only Tanai Chazara you need is Hinich Agabi Karka. So you can't put Agabi Karka. The Mechaber says over here, Vizor Shelo Yosim Kedirasa Agabi Karka V'Shetia Rei Sachas, and it should be hot. Why? Because if it's not hot, the Pashas, as we learned until now, it'll be a problem of Bishul Lach or Bishul according to the Mechaber by a Dover Lach. Now the Smaher says the Ramah, Shanoyag and Lahakal Afim Nasam Agabi Karka. This is the Ramah who says before that the minute who wants to go like the Ran, and the Ran says you don't need any Tanai Chazara when you're doing it on Shabbos itself. We spoke out that we don't go with the Ran today. We are Machmer. We have to have Tanai Chazara. That's the Mechaber. Says the Magen Avram. Sifkal Lamed Yishana Avol Chadasha Aser. A new one is Aser the Melabna. The Melabna is meaning you're strengthening the pot and you're making it strong, and that's a different issue. So taking one of the pot. Va'av Sherabbe says the pasuk l'hakam b'seif simitov kov beis. The Eliezer is mekel. He's not worried about Melabna. Hainuk sheyesh bo tafshel, when there's food in the pot. Avol b'rei kanes after shemoided the Aser by an empty pot to be safe is possible. That's a problem because of tikkun mana. This is a side problem of fixing the pot. By Sifkat Lamed Aleph, Apik Akira. Why? The Habalei Kira ke Grufa Ktuma. Now it's like Grufa Ktuma. Shere Akadero Sesemes Espi Hakira. The pot closes up the opening of the Kira. Chem Mashma Simin Shin Yud Ches Sif Yud Ches. It should be Sif Ches. Sif Ches. It should be. It says they fix it by you. Sif yeah. Oh, here's Sif Ches. Ve'inu Kain says the Ramah now. Yesh Leimar Shagabi Tanurim Shalonu Shari Litain Afilu Eish B'Teicha Tanur Kivin Sheyesh Ma'azivo Hamafsik Beinu Eish. Says the Ramah. In our Tanurim, we have a fire inside the Tanur. You have a maziva, is like a roof on top of the fire. You're allowed to put it on top of that roof. Now that's very hot, and it's possible to heat up food there. So it's have an oven, and on top of it is like a metal roof. And you're allowed to put the pot on top of that metal roof. That's called Gorav V'Kotim. That's what the Magen Avram is saying over here. Our ovens, Kimishesh Maziva, Amafsik Ben Eish, is mutter.
What's the literal translation of maziva?
Maziva, I think, is a roof. I think so.
You know,
maziva usually means
maziva is usually the
tar.
No.
What's
I thought it was usually like the trough
around the side.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
The side.
Of which is maziva. Okay, fine. So when you put it to something, you don't put it on directly above the fire. You're putting it on a metal. Maybe it's a little metal lip on the side.
It's a lip, it's a Harav, it's all...
Maziva is a lip.
Yeah, and it's what's over the outside.
What's overlapping.
It's not directly on the fire, it's on something mafsik between that and the fire.
Yeah.
If you look in... Look in the Machzor Shecher, Sivkot Lamed Aleph. Mishari lahachzir, he says, v'hocha chazorahi, v'loi tchilas shihir, takfar oimdim agabe kirazu. So this whole thing here is talking about chazorah. Look at the Machzor Shecher, Sivkot Lamed Aleph.
Yeah.
He stresses it a few times. This whole sif here is talking about chazorah on Shabbos. We're not talking about a sin lechatchila. If you look at towards the end, he says, agabe tanurim shalonu, kivin shesh maziva, v'hava k'may simas kedera, Tahacha, the Harav for Kotum, Mashkasa Magavram, Agabi Tunum Shalanu, Shari, Litain, you're allowed to put it. He says, Rotza Loima, what it means to say is, Lahachzir, to return. Avot Chila, Shehiyah B'Shabbos, Vade Aser. But to put it on the Chatchila on Shabbos, of course it's Aser. So this whole thing here, this whole Magen Avram, it says a Lashon, Litain, you're allowed to put it on the Maziva. It doesn't mean the Chatchila, to start the first time, put it on Shabbos. He means it chazar. Return it. That's one thing we have to know. This whole thing is talking about returning, not the sin lichatchila. Sin lichatchila is also. So what's the cool here of the Magen Avraham? That our ovens have a maziva, you're allowed to put something on top of it. Now this is basically our blechs. You have a fire, you have something on top of the fire, and then you put the pot on top of that. We never had in this simon yet anything dealing with our blechs. We had Garav V'Katam until now. Garav V'Katam means you touch the fire. You put out the fire, you took out the coals, that's Garav V'Katam. We never yet spoke about a hefsek between the fire and the pot. That we never spoke about in Simulation Gimel. This is the first time it's spoken about. It's the first time you see that Garav V'Katam can also be when you have a separation between the fire and the pot. Is that correct? We never spoke about a blech till now. This sieve is our blechs.
Well, we did in the sense of what is katum. Katum means put something to minimize the heat. That is, we didn't spell it out as a blech. But
is it minimizing the heat? It's a conductor. It's a metal.
Well, that's what the Chazanish says. It's problematic.
Oh, we'll see where the Chazanish comes from. Chazanish is coming from here. We'll see why in a second.
So the original blech was just to use pot. And then
the original blech was a pot. Correct.
And it developed from there, maybe.
Correct. The original blech was an empty pot, so put it on top, and then you put the food on top of that. That was the original blech. So here it says it's mutter to use a blech on Shabbos to put al gabe maziva. The Merul says, "Emunach eitz by daf al tanur mutter laniach aleha kadeira ad kam l'shoynai." So the Merul is really arguing on the Magen Avraham. The Magen Avraham says the maziva itself is enough, and the Merul says no, you have to put something on top of the maziva. You can't just put a blech by itself, you have to put something on top of the maziva. Chen kosev ha'aguda zel shana tashbet sem yesh dapim asuyim agabe tanur k'mo sheyesh beRothenburg was a place v'habim mekaymis muter laniach agabe adafim. Mashma, says the Magen Avraham, the Spiro lay, the boy sheiniach shum davar ima la'akera.
What?
You have to have something else for an akera. For a heker means to show that you don't cook it there. So the way the Magen Avraham brings down the Maril, the way the Magen Avraham brings down the Maril doesn't hold that you put it directly on top of the maziva. Even Chazara. Even to be magzir directly on top of the maziva, you can't do. You have to have a heker. You have to have a heker.
Maybe like tinfoil.
On top of the maziva, maybe that's fine. So you can't put it on the maziva itself. You have to have a heker on top of the maziva. If you look at the Mishnah Berurah, it says the more mafurish. Mishnah Berurah Sif Cotton Peyalev. If you look at the Mishnah Berurah Sif Cotton Peyalev, Api Akira. Look by the Ayin Dalet by Shaar Tzin. It says Lafizeh Hua Din Gam Mitanurim Shalanu. See it?
Which Ayin Dalet?
It's Sif Cotton Pei Aleph, but like a few lines in. By the Ayin Dalet of the Shaar Tzin.
Okay, yeah.
In the Mishnah itself. Well, Lafizeh Hua Din Gam Mitanurim Shalanu. She'esh B'toicha Gam Kein Shari Litein L'mayla Agabe Maziva Shalatanur. Kivik Shamaziva Mafsik Ben Akdeir Ben Eish. You're allowed to put it means Chazara. You're allowed to put it on top of the Maziva because that's called Garav V'Katam. Kochler means there was also a place. Kochler was a place they had in the Tanner. You could put a pot there. It wasn't. What?
Some kind of a compartment.
Something like a compartment, yeah. Yeah, so there was some type of compartment in the oven that you didn't put it directly in the oven, you put it on the side.
Right.
Warming up.
Yeah. So it says it's mutter to do it. Ochem b'maril isa the tzarach l'havsuk sham ala maziva be'eze eitzaydaf la'keira. V'yasa ma'kadeira oleha. So the Maril says you can't put it directly on the maziva. You have to have a heker on top of the maziva, and then you can put it on top of the over there. That's what the Maril holds. So that's the machlokes of Magen Avraham and the Maril. Says the Chazanish, our blechs today are basically the maziva, and therefore you put a blech on the fire. You can't put it directly on the blech. Chazara for sure not. you have to have a hecker on top of the maziva, a hecker on top of the blech, like the maril. Person will argue in the Chazon Ish and hold that a blech does work. Where do they hold? It's the first maril. You can't put a blech. You can't put it on top of the maziva directly. You have to have a hecker on the maziva. What do they hold? They say no. The maril's case is that that's the way the oven was the whole time. The maziva was part of the oven, and therefore you put on top of the maziva, you didn't change anything. Masha'ekin, our blechs, it's changing something. That itself could be a hecker. That's the machlekes, the Chazon Ish, and the other poskim about our blechs today. It's come from this maril. The maril says you cannot put it directly on top of the maziva. You have to have a hecker on the maziva. Chazon Ish says our blechs are like a maziva, and therefore you have to have a hecker, you have to have something else on top of the blech to show that it's different. And the other poskim hold, the oven, the Chazon Ish, that no, the maziva, because that's the way the oven was. It was built with that maziva, and you put on top of it, you didn't change anything. Masha'ekin, our blechs today, you're changing something, and therefore it's mutter to put it on top of the blechs.
When you say blech, you mean plata also, right?
No. A plata is a different question. It's a plata called garvakotim. Since if there's no knobs on it, you can't change it. That's a different question. But definitely, if you put a silver on top of the plata, that's good enough. That's a blech.
It's interesting that
could you say that the actual metal of our platas could be the maziva of this?
No. I'll tell you why. Because that's for sure not a hecker. Everyone, even the person that are arguing the Chazon Ish, say that you're adding something that's not usually there. The metal of the plata that's above the coils, which is inside, that's mamash maziva. That's for sure maziva.
That's what I'm saying. That could be the maziva, like in the tanner's maziva, which is always there.
Right.
So we put something on top of it.
Right.
A hecker.
But even if it's not a maziva, even if that's the fire itself, you put something on top, it's fine.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but the platter itself is a hecker because you don't usually cook on a platter anyway.
It doesn't make a difference. I'm saying the maziva was a place that you never cooked on. The maziva here was a place no one ever cooked on top of the maziva. That's why when people say that a platter is not a mokam bishul, therefore it's mutter to put on the chatchila, you don't find that.
So the crock
you see from here differently.
The same crock pot, the same.
Crock pot is even worse. Crock pot's a mokam bishul. Crock pot's even worse.
So you have knobs.
Oh yeah, there's knobs there, yeah.
There's two things you have today. First of all, you have the crock pots, where you put the chant on Erev Shabbos and it cooks over there and you leave it there over Shabbos. That's for sure you need gar for cotton. Then no one says you don't need gar for cotton there. And you want to put something on top of that, for sure it's also. But even the platters that no one ever cooked on a platter, because it doesn't get hard enough to cook, maybe, I'm not sure. I mean, you probably could cook on a platter. Slow cooking you could on a platter, no?
Maybe.
For sure,
If you're going to stay for 20 hours, maybe it's going to be...
Even if a platter you can't cook on it, and it's not a mokam bishul, because anything that's yasal, a platter gets hot enough that you can cook on it. I can't imagine that.
But which poskim argue on the Chazon Ish and said that you don't need the hecker? Because if you don't need the hecker, then you can cook on then you can go directly onto the platter.
No, because the platter is the mokam bishul. The person that argue the Chazon Ish and say that blech is good enough, because the blech is better than a maziva. It's not a usual. Put it there. It's something funny.
Right.
A hot plate is the maziva, for sure. That's a place where, even though you usually don't cook there, but it's a place that you usually warm up there. It's a normal thing.
Warm up, correct.
It's a normal thing. That's not maziva. Maziva was a place that you never cooked on. That's what you have to know. Maziva was a place that you never cooked. You never find somebody cooking on a maziva. Maziva was a place you put stuff to warm. You never cooked in a maziva. And still it's also to put it on there on Shabbos.
But the Maggid Avraham holds that you could put it on.
Yeah, the Maggid Avraham holds you can put it in the maziva. We go to Maril. That a maziva needs a hecker. So why our blechs don't need a hecker? Because our blechs may be better than a maziva. But there's a few different arguments. The Maggid Avraham holds you out of maziva is mutter lechatchila to do chazara on it. This is all talking about chazara. It's another thing you have to realize. We're not even talking about a sinna lechatchila here. This is all chazara onto it.
It's interesting because the Chazon Ish is Michael like the Ran when it comes to chazara.
Chazara, something else.
But I'm saying, so why is he machmir over here with a...
Because it's not a gar for kotam. It's a different child. Chazon Ish says this is not called gar v'kotum. It's like a maziva. Maziva itself is not called gar v'kotum. You have to do something else to make it gar v'kotum.
But we use a hecker for what reason? What's the reason?
Because Bechtakim Mavashal. Good? That's this question here with the blacks. This is the points that come out from this halacha here, that when you have a maziva and you put a hecker on the maziva, it's mutter. That's what everyone agrees to that. Marul says you have a maziva, you put a hecker on the maziva, it's mutter. And what's mutter? There they say even if sin lechatchila is mutter. If you look in the Mishnah Berurah, where we left off before. A hecker on a maziva, then you can even put the lechatchila on Shabbos. A hecker on a maziva. That means our blacks, let's say, are maziva. You put a hecker on top of it.
Like foil.
It depends if foil is enough. Let's say it's an upside down tin. You put it on top of it. Then you can put something on top of the upside down tin. The lechatchila.
From the fridge.
From the fridge. Then you can do the lechatchila. Why? Because that's a hecker on top of a maziva. And that's mutter lechatchila. A gar v'kotum, you can't do lechatchila. A hecker on top of a maziva, then you can do lechatchila b'Shabbos. That's where the hecker comes from.
And that's not called mefrik.
No, that's mutter lechatchila to go ahead and put it. We'll see in Sif Hey that if you have a pot, a full pot, you're allowed to put something on top of a full pot on Shabbos. And we'll see why in Sif Hey. But here we're talking about you have an empty pot, you put an empty pot on top of the fire, you can't put something directly lechatchila. Chazara, yeah. But if you have a maziva, on top of the maziva you put an empty pot upside down, then you can put it lechatchila on Shabbos.
And for that purpose, would you consider an electric pot as a maziva?
That's a question. That's a question. Maybe. You want to know if you can take a hot plate without a silver foil on top of the hot plate, and put an upside down tin on top of the hot plate, and put something on top of that. So then maybe you could do it. Because if you say the hot plate has a din like a maziva, then if you put something upside down, pot on top of it, then it's mutter.
Like a cookie sheet.
A cookie sheet, yeah. Then maybe you could do it. Even though the platter is not gar v'kotum. Even though the platter doesn't have a foil on top of it, still you could put an empty thing on top, upside down, and put it on top of it. Why? Because it could be that the platter has a din of a maziva. Could be.
Does it make it better if you put a foil there too?
Yeah, it's gar v'kotum. Yeah, for sure. Because if you put foil there, it's gar, right. If you put a foil, it's gar v'kotum. It's an empty thing on top of the foil.
Right.
But even without that, if there's no knobs on it, then what's the problem with the...
Even though there's no knobs, it could still be a stuff of gar v'kotum.
Do they even sell the platas?
Yeah.
With all the hashgachos and all these kind of things, they're no knobs, no dials, nothing at all. The understanding is that that's a gar v'kotum.
Yeah.
And the big problem there is that if you're not doing either like a maziva or you're doing a gedera gabik gedera, the question is, can you
put it lechatchila on Shabbos?
Again, I don't know what people do, but
they say they say it's called gar v'kotum.
Yeah.
That's
okay, even if it's called gar v'kotum.
That's how it's marketed.
It's marketed.
Okay, but who said
with the hashgacha? No, it doesn't. It's not you're buying it from Procter Gamble or wherever.
Precise. But the hashgacha is what? That's called gar v'kotum, but that's more than gar v'kotum. Don't forget, when a sinner lechatchila does not help gar v'kotum.
It's more than gar v'kotum. Because it could be that there are 2 layers of metal in there.
No, the question I think that the question is, if it's not called gar v'kotum, do you still need to put
foil
on top?
Yeah, you do. For chazara.
So if it's more than gar v'kotum on the platter, then it means maybe that there are 2 layers. So
it's hard to say. It's hard to say. You have to know what the hechsher is. If the hechsher is a hechsher that's not called that's called garif katum, that means you're allowed to do chazara onto it directly without putting a foil. Because it's called garif katum.
Right.
But even if that's true, it's called garif katum. The sin lechatchila you can't do. Garif katum you're not allowed to do the sin lechatchila.
There you have to have the head.
Then you have to have something else. You have to put an upside down pot on top of it. Then you can do the sin lechatchila.
Right.
But I don't know if the hechsher says you can do the sin lechatchila. Could be the hechsher is only that's garif katum.
The hechsher is only the gabe
garif katum. So something that's garif katum you're allowed to chazara, and you don't have to put a foil maybe on top of it. That could be. But to say that you do sin lechatchila, that's a whole different step.
I didn't say that.
No.
Yeah. Say sin lechatchila. Yeah.
I just
The
said
garif katum.
that it's garif katum.
Yeah.
There's no knobs.
So it could be the garif katum. It could be the garif katum, but that's the machlokes. If knobs is enough, a garif katum or not. That's the whole machlokes we have.
Rabbi and Moshe.
Right. Depends on it's enough.
But the question is, what I think what they do is that when you have the hot plate, they have a sheet of metal over the fire, then they have a small revach, and then they have another the top part, the top sheet of metal.
So that
could be not only garif katum, it could also be something.
No, so that could be for Chazon Ish, who says that about Ziva is not even garif katum. So it could be they have that airspace in between to make it garif katum according to Chazon Ish. I don't know, maybe.
You have to.
I never checked into those plots.
Mail to company. You have to mail to company.
I never checked into those plots what they're trying to sell, what head they're trying to sell. But to say that it's maziva with a hecker, that's a big chiddush. To say that it's lechatchila mutar, that's a big chiddush. To say that it's garif katum and you don't have to put a silver if you're doing chazara, okay, that I can hear. That's the machlokes. If there's no knobs, so then it's called garif katum. Fine. So that's this maharil. This maharil, the sif katan amalaf in the Maharil is a very important sif. Sif katan. The maharil is a very important maharil. This is called the maziva. Maziva is not a mokum bishul. That's what you have to remember. Maziva is not a place where you cook, and still it's also to put it in the lechatchila on Shabbos. And not just that, even chazara is also by a maziva, according to maharil. Unless you have a hecker on top of the maziva.
So one more question. So let's say you had a cook that you had on Friday night.
Yeah.
You ate it on Friday night.
Right.
And then you put it in the fridge, and you took it out again for Shabbos.
So that's nothing. That's like sin lechatchila.
It's not a chazar.
It's not chazara. Once you put it in the fridge, once it's a gabi karka, not ichel hakzer, it's already
What
sin
about the
lechatchila.
Rabbi holds that you can put it on the fridge? Yeah. Still have chazar.
First of all, if the silent gamri,
And if you have intention that you're going to have it also for Shabbos lunch.
first of all, we're not making with the ram. But you have to know where the ram. You have to know the ram at Siv Beis that says that you don't need to night chazara on Shabbos, right? Take it off the fire, and not put it back, even if it's nichel gabi karka, not ichel hakzer. Someone takes a kugel Friday night, puts it in the refrigerator, and on Shabbos morning wants to take it out and put it back in the oven.
Like on a plata.
On a garif katum. On a garif katum. According to the Ran. Is that called chazara or the sin lechatchila?
According to the Ran?
Yeah, the Ran holds you only tonight chazara on Shabbos.
It could be chazara.
I don't know. I want to say it's chazara. So far, because
I can see we don't pass them like the Ran. We don't go by this
I know.
Ran.
Yeah, no, for sure we don't pass like the Ran.
But that's the whole kiddush.
Right. We don't pass like the Ran, so definitely the lechatchila you can't do it.
Requires garden custom and the special culture.
Yeah, but it has to be. Yeah, but if it was on the fire, Friday night, they took it off and put it away. I don't know. I can't imagine the Ran hold that's still called chazara.
So what's the method for eating warm kugel on Shabbos? On Shabbos day?
So two methods. First of all, either you turn over an empty tin on top of the plata, or you put it on top of your challah pot. On top of your challah pot is mutter with CNC pay.
Because you're using
CNC pay. The big kasha is in Sif Gimel. We'll see maybe at the end of the shit we'll start you off with Sif Hay. Sif Gimel says that if you have an empty pot, right? You put an empty pot on top of the fire, you're allowed to do chazor. But you're not allowed to do netzin lechatchila on Shabbos, on an empty pot. Unless it's on top of a maziva, which we had in the Spiro here. But Stam is to put on an empty pot on Shabbos, it's called netzin lechatchila is aser. Only chazor is mutter. In Sif Hey it says you're allowed to take from your refrigerator and put it on top of your cholent pot, which is on top of the fire. Cholent pot is directly on top of the fire, you're allowed to put something on top of the pot. The question is what's the difference?
Does one have food in it or not?
One has food in it, one doesn't have food in it. The question is, does that make a difference or not?
Apparently.
Okay, so we'll see. There's a document over here that says there's not a difference. We'll see when we get to Sif Hey. That's the question. What's the difference between Sif Gimel and Sif Hey? Sif Gimel says it's also to put it on an empty pot, and Sif Hey it says you're allowed to put it on the pot. So the Biur Halacha we'll see maybe later on today says that it's mutter because there's food inside. We'll see if everyone agrees to that. We'll get to that later on. Fine. Sif Daled. Yes, Limchos b'yad hanoegim lahatmin b'yadayim. You should be moicha. You should protest against those who have a minig that lahatmin b'yadayim kumkum shamayim chamin. They have in it a kumkum which is hot water. V'noisen oislo toicha gdeira, and they put it into the pot. B'Shabbos kisha tavshel mitztamik. When the tavshel, when the food, this mitztamik is drying out, they would add the water to the pot. Now, I know in the sheets they give 4 different cases over here. We can go without the sheets. This halacha here is talking about, and if you want, there's something called the Shoin Halachos.
Oh, I haven't.
Shoin Halachos from Chaim Kanievsky, who goes through the Simonim and he adds little things here and there. He says, Mefurish, Sif Daled is talking about, you have hot water, and you want to add it to a pot off the fire. This Sif is not talking about a pot that's on the fire. It doesn't mention one place anything about a pot that's on the fire. So Sif Daled is talking about a pot that's off the fire. You take hot water and you want to add it to your pot that's dried out. We're going to make it not as dry anymore. So why are you putting hot water? Because otherwise you cool down the tafshel. That's Sif Daled. And the problem is because the Mechaber himself holds that if one's Yatzal this boy and one's not, if one's it's still Yatzal this boy, the Mechaber holds yes bishul acha bishul by davalach. Once we went under the Yatzal this boy, once we got lower than Yatzal this boy, it's a problem of bishul acha bishul. So what are you worried about? One of them may still be Yatzal this boy. One of them is a drop under Yatzal this boy. And when you mix them together, you're making the one that's not Yatzal this boy into a Yatzal this boy. So basically you're doing a bishul. That's the issue.
Does it matter which one is being poured into the other one?
So we'll see in a second. We'll get to that. But that's the issue here. The issue here is you can bring up the one that's not Yatzal this boy up to a Yatzal this boy, and that's bishul acha bishul. The Ramo holds in Simishin Ches that ain't bishul acha bishul until it's tzana legamri, until it's thoroughly cold. So the Ramo's going to hold to here there's nothing to worry about. Because it's never that cold.
I understand the Svara behind Rabbi Kanievsky. He's saying that you're talking about a kedera that isn't on
not on the fire.
So why does the Mechaber talk about mid-stomach? If you're only worried about it not being cold,
it's dried out.
No, it's drying out. I mean, basically,
it doesn't say like Lashon before. It's to become more mid-stomach. It's already a tafshel. It's already dried out. It's off the fire, and you're adding water to it.
But he's talking in a present tense.
Present term. It's not
mid-stomach. It's now mid-stomach, not mid-stomach.
It's very, very hot. You took the pot off the fire. It's still very, very hot.
Right.
It's very, very hot, the pot. And it's going to dry out more.
If both items are Yatzaledis, then even if it's Agabe Eresh, it shouldn't be a problem. Is that?
If both items are Yatzaledis, boy.
And that's what we're talking here, where you took it off.
Right. We'll get to Agabe Eresh in a second. What the problem Agabe Eresh is. But let's talk about first not Agabe Eresh. Let's just talk about what the Mechaber is talking about here, and then afterwards we'll go to the case of Agabe Eresh and see what the issue is. The Mechaber here is talking about a problem of Bishul Acha Bishul, and says the Ramah in parentheses of Ayin L'Kamon Simin Shin Yud Ches. What did you want with that?
Bishul.
Says the Mishnah Berurah over here that the Ramah is telling you that are you saying Simin Shin Yud Ches that there's no Bishul Acha Bishul until it's Tzal Nagamri. So according to the Ramah, you have nothing to worry about. That's what the Ramah reads over here. If you look in the Magen Avraham Sif Kol Lamed Beis, it says the same thing. Yes, Limchos Upa'amim Echad Hayat Ledus Boy Vasheni Ein Hayat Ledus Boy U'Mispashlam Zeh Im Zeh, and again cooked. Ve'im Kain L'Fim Achkotav Sibashin L'Ches Sif Tezvav The Mloy Nisan Lagamri Ein Boy Mishum Bishul. Im Kain Gam Kan Shari. Here also it's mutter because the Rama holds there's no Bishul Acha Bishul unless it's Nisan Lagamri. Shari here is mutter. The Ma'aser B'chal Yoim Shenois Nematoicha Kaira Kitniyos. You put into a plate Kitniyos beans. Uma'arim Alayim Roitiv Shel Basar. And you pour onto it the gravy of meat which is very hot. V'im kain kivin sha'kidniyos b'klisheni, since the kidneys are in a klisheni, ma'arim alayim b'kli rishon, have alay bishul. You're pouring onto it from a kli rishon which is hot, you're doing a bishul. You bring it back. Now, kidneyos, I think people going to speak out over here, we're not talking about dry beans. Because if they're dry, ain't bishul like a bishul. The case was the kidneyos, the beans had in it some type of sauce also. Because if there wouldn't be sauce in the beans, there wouldn't be a problem. Ein bishul like a bishul, but davar yavich. So people going to speak out over here, the kidneyos also have some type of liquid in them. And therefore the issue will be that have a bishul. Even if you do the opposite, first you put the sauce in a plate, and then you put the kidneys inside, and what's the difference? Still irikli rishon. So the Achrayim speak out over here, the Machzor Shekel says over here, because kidney is a nifsek hakiluach. It's coming out, it's nifsek hakiluach, it stops, the pouring stops the middle. The Mishabru speaks out over here that kidney is you always will take out with a spoon and put it into the kaira. So it's already a klisheni, nothing to worry about. But even if you have those kulis, the kamakar, yesh lochash ha-kidneys reischar, yoyser, the kidneys, the beans are hotter than the meat sauce, the gravy, and therefore, yesh bishul acha bishul. El ha-karchach svidu lehem, the less mishum bishul, im hucham, chamash ksaf telel. Says the Magen Avram, Ma'aser B'chal Yoim, people do pour the kidneys back and forth, and they're not worried about bishul. Why not? Because they hold like the Ramah, and the Ramah is not worried about bishul in this case. For the long as not silent gamri, there's no problem of bishul. Mashayk the Mechaber, who says you have to be careful. Yesh limchois. The Mechaber l'shetosa you hold yesh bishul acha bishul once it goes under yatzel this boy. That's what the Magen Avram is saying over here. Says the Magen Avram, yesh l'zor, you have to be careful. So leheges pen bekaf. You shouldn't mix it with the spoon.
What's the abbreviation right before the word ach?
Chamash ksaf telel. I wrote before. Yesh l'zor, so leheges pen bekaf. Don't mix it with the spoon. And we'll see in Semicha Ches that mixing with the spoon is another problem of bishul. If you mix something with the spoon, it could be a problem of bishul. But Semicha Ches. Now says the Magen Avram another chiddush. Lefi divrei Rashi svidulei, tahavalei kematmin b'Shabbos, mashkasa b'ran, umil l'kaimel l'hachi. Rashi has a chumrah. We hold hatmana is only when you take a kli and you put it into something hot. You take food and you add it to other food, that's not called hatmana. You take a kishka and you put it into your cholent, that's not called hatmana. So be atmana, the halacha is you can't be matmeh medov and a moisav hevel even erev Shabbos. So you put your kishka into your cholent, it's atmana. The answer is that we hold that there's no hatmana food in food. Hatmana is only a kli in food. That's why if you put your kishka in a silver foil and you put it into your cholent, that could be worse. So that's already hatmana. It's in a kli. You have to be careful. We'll get to that. But if you put your kishka directly into the cholent, it's not a problem of atmana because we hold food in food is not called atmana. Rashi holds it is called atmana. So if you take water and you pour it into a cholent on Shabbos, you're taking the water and you're being matmin in, you're putting it into the cholent. That'll be awesome. Says the Magen Avram, you don't have to worry about that. Ach v'divrei Rashi Spiro lei, tavel kematmin b'Shabbos, mashkasa b'ran, umil l'kaimel hachi, mashkasafti, simin shilcha b'av sif gimel. Now comes the Magen Avram with a chumrah. Still, yes, liten a kidneys lebesayf leroitiv. You should still put the kidneys second. That means even though we hold like the Ramah, and we hold ein bishul achar bishul, I told the Stan Gamri, for some reason the Magen Avram says over here, don't put the kidneys and then the roitiv, because then the roitiv is a chlerishin onto the kidneys. Don't do that. Put the roitiv first and then the kidneys, because when you put the beans in, either you have nifsach hakiluach or you're using a spoon. So for some reason over here the Ramah says, let's be machmir like the mechaber. I'm not sure why. The Chayim aren't sure why. Yeah, the Mr. Ruby is that also over here. The doesn't say why. And the Chayim are trying to figure out why over here the Magen Avraham is machmir like the mechaber, habishul achabishul.
Because maybe it's lach, and therefore if you're putting the rotter first into a cliche, and then after you're putting it.
But it's not San Lagami. According to Magen Avraham, only San Lagami is a problem. It's not a San Lagami, it's not a problem. It's not totally cold, then it's not a problem according to the Ramah. And the Ramah is never machmir by less than the boy. Here for some reason the Ramah says it should be machmir and you shouldn't put the roitiv onto the kidneys. Then the Ramah says if ain't roitiv in kidneys, there's no roitiv in the kidneys. A full mitzvah legamri, even though it's cold, totally cold. Sorry, little name roitiv. Which means over here, because ain't bishul acha bishul by davar yavesh. There's no wetness, there's no water in the kidney ice. It's not a problem because ain't bishul acha bishul by a davar yavesh. By a dry thing, there's no such thing as bishul acha bishul. So basically, Steve Dalit is saying that according to the Sfardim, you have to be careful. You're pouring two things that are off the fire. You're pouring one into the next. You have to be careful. You shouldn't do it because maybe one of them is not Yatzal Edesboy, and you're pouring the Yatzal Edesboy into it, you can bring it up to a level of Yatzal Edesboy, that's called Bishul. According to the Ramah, it's not a problem. The Magen Avraham says, still, Yesh L'Hachmer in this case, for some reason. Now, in the Sheets, they go through a whole different Shaila, and we'll go through it now, which is a Shaila of if the pot is on the fire. Now, if the pot is on the fire,
and the water is not.
And the water is not. The water you're taking from kumkum. So if the pot is on the fire,
the water could also be on the fire.
Yeah. The water. So if the water is on the fire and the pot's on the fire, you don't have this chashash at all.
Because both of them are
they're both yatzal at this point. Right. The only chashash is $50 and maybe one's yatzal at and one's not. They're both coming from the fire. Even the mechaber will be masking its mutter.
It doesn't matter if there are different temperatures in Yatzal.
No, once it's Yatzal Etzboy, doesn't make a difference. Once it's Yatzal Etzboy, it doesn't make a difference.
And this whole sheet that's brought down in the sheets about the Yerushalmi and the
with the Bnei Yaina, we don't go with that.
You know, nothing.
We don't go with the Bnei Yaina. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Yeah, we don't go with that.
Thank you.
We don't pass it that way. I'm not sure why they brought it down, but I guess it's good to know. I'm not sure the Bnei Yaina means what he says over there.
It's mostly Yerushalmi that
Yerushalmi, but
it says that the Chavidas pastas like that.
Yeah, Sfardim are machmer. Yes, you bring that. I didn't know that.
It's a big thing. Even on Yad,
yeah. He brought that from the Chavistas. I don't know what the Sfardim hold. I guess you have to ask your rabbis.
Where's JJ?
I know we're not passing that way at all. We're not machmer. According to us, anyway, it's not a problem because we go to the San Lagamri.
Right.
It's only the Sfardim who hold that. Yatzal Edesboy is bishul achabishul, and then he's saying even more. Even if it's Yatzal Edesboy, different dargas, different levels of heat, maybe a problem of bishul.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know such a shit in the Yerushalmi. We don't pass that way. Ashkenazim for sure. They say that Chavas Das passing that way. I don't know. You have to go ask your poskim about that. It becomes a very very big chumrah.
Yeah.
But when we don't pass on that, that's when the water had reached this boiling point and then became cooled down as well, but it's still...
No, that makes a difference. Even once the water is Yatzal Edesboy, it's finished. It's fully cooked. There's no more bishul afterwards. You bring it up to the boiling point, it's not called more bishul. And not just if you reach the boiling point, you bring it back down. Right? Even if it passes the Yatzal Edesboy and you bring it to the boiling point, I'm pretty sure it's not called the bishul either. Definitely if you reach the boiling point, then it came down. So
what's Stam Montgomery? That's
what's the
Stam Montgomery. Cools down completely.
Yeah, completely cold. So here there's another question, which is a very famous shaila. You put it into your child is drying out, so you want to take a cup with hot water and pour it into your child. Right? So what's the halacha over there? What should be the issur? What should be the issur of taking from a hot water and pouring it into a different pot?
So if you say that they're both Yatzilets,
they're both Yatzilets, they're both hot, there's no problem of bishul.
Right.
Is there any issue of taking hot water and pouring it into your child on Shabbos?
Could it be because you're already moving into a klisheni and then when you move into a klisheni?
So what's the problem? And what's the problem with the klisheni? So let's say pour into klisheni. What's the problem?
Question is, do you have Yatzilets and klisheni?
Right.
No, it's Yatzilets boy. It's Yatzilets boy. It's no bishul there.
Cliche should make it.
And according to the Ashkenazim, even if that's not the Yatzilets boy.
Right.
It's still mutter because it's not San Lagamri.
Right.
So what should be the problem of taking into a cup and pouring it into the child?
That's pina mecham and mecham.
Oh, so there's another thing called pina mecham lemecham. Pina mecham lemecham means, which we had before in the Magen of Ram. I'll show you in a second where it is. There's something called, we had Tanai Chazar. Take something off the fire, you're allowed to put it back on the fire. If it's Gar v'Kotum, if it's like Nicha Gabi Karka, if it's Taita L'Hachzir. There's another Tanai the Magen of Ram brings down, which is called, you can't be Pina Memecham Lemecham, which means, you take a food, it's in a pot, you transfer the food into another pot, it's still boiling hot, and now you want to put it back on the stove. Can you do that? Is that called chazara or not?
It's new cooking.
Because the food is the same food. The pot's a new pot. So can you do that? That means the child is burning on the pot. And what do you want to do? You can't clean this pot, it's already stuck to it. So you want to take the whole child and pour it into a new pot and put the new pot on the fire.
And that pot is cold.
That pot, what's cold? Yeah.
It is cold.
Yeah, it's a new pot. It's a new pot. Pot, whatever. It's an old pot, but it wasn't used now. So that's called pina memecham lemecham. Are you allowed to do that or not? Is chazara dependent on the food or on the pot? That's the way you look at it. The pot is the sin l'chatchila, but the food is not a sin l'chatchila. The food is.
It's not just a case of where it's on the fire. Let's say, for example, you took your child off the fire, you served, data lahapsir, transfer it into another pot, and then you want to put that one back onto the fire.
Yeah.
Same, right?
Right. Yeah, you transfer the child into another pot. You want to put a new pot on the fire.
Not because it's burning. Nothing.
No, anything. No, I give you an example.
I want to have
yeah, but if you put the same pot back on, it's not a problem.
I'm saying, so you took it from the main pot.
Yeah, and you put it in another pot, and you were putting it back on. That's called pina mecham lemecham. If you look in the Magen of Ram, in Sifkot and Chaf, where he speaks about the Tanai Chazara, so the Magen of Ram says, "Ba'oide biyodoi." See Sifkot and Chaf.
Yep.
The Rabbi says, "Spiro daftuk shenicha gabe karka oser, aval nicha magabe mita oy safsol, oy shepina memecham lemecham shori." The Beis Yosef holds that we don't benegate Tanai Chazara. The only chazara is in nicha gabe karka, but if you put a gabe safsol, we saw the Mechaber holds it's mutter. The same thing, pina memecham lemecham also is mutter. All of these things are also the Havalei K'Moshe b'Shabbos l'Chatchila. It's like you're putting in the Chatchila. If you don't have any of the Tanai Chazara, it's like you're doing in the Chatchila on Shabbos. Meaning, whether you put it into another pot, whether you put it down on the mitzvah safsel, whether you didn't have Datul HaHakzir, any of these Tanai Chazara you didn't have, it's awesome. And one of the Tanai Chazara is it can't be Pina memecham. You emptied it from one pot to the next pot.
Which
That's
5 tonight is that?
Pina memecham is its own tonight.
But according to Ramah.
The mother to bring it down.
Right. So
the mother to bring down Pina memecham.
These are the 5 that he holds by.
Right.
So is this one of the 5, and you have to? Is this oida biyada? Is this?
No, it's a new thing. It's a new tonight. Pina memecham.
They included as one of the 5 in Shiur 8.
Yeah.
No, but I'm trying to say like this is not his own. He's saying never talked about this.
No, the one I spoke of Pina Mechel Mecham.
Right.
So you have to have Tanai Chazara.
So are we saying that in one of the 5 Tanoim is this idea?
No, the Gemara brings that as a separate thing.
But the Gemara doesn't come to any resolution.
But none of them does it. Not by Daitel Hakzer, not by Nichan Gabakaka. The Gemara is Machmir with all the Tanoim in the Gemara.
Okay.
Right? So it says the Magen Avram, therefore Pina Mechel Mecham is also one of the boys in the Gemara. The Gemara says, you take it off, you put it back on. How about if it's a Nichal Gabakaka? How about Gabas Afsal? How about not Daitel Hakzer? How about Pina Mechel Mecham? The Gemara doesn't answer any of them. It's a machlokes in the Gemara over there. So the Ramah holds you have to have all of them. All Tanai Chazar you have to have. Says the Magen Avram, therefore Pina Mechel Mecham also you have to have.
And it's dependent on the pot or the food.
No, the pot.
Well, it has to be because
Pina Mechel Mecham is the pot.
Right. So what is it by Pina Mechel Mecham? What is he worried about? Because the top shul is the same top shul.
Because it looks like a new Desina.
Just because the pot is different.
Because it's a new pot. Correct. Because it's a new pot, therefore it's a Desina Lechatchila on Shabbos. So the Magen Avram brings down that according to the Ramah, you have to worry about Pina Mecham Lemecham. If you look in the Sharetzion, the Sif Kotin Mem Zayin, Sif Kotin Mem Zayin, the Sharetzion. It's before in Sif Beis by Tanai Chazara. Says the Sharetzion, Magen Avram Adasar Ma, V'lo Yiskarti, I didn't mention Pina Memecham Lemecham Shezachar Magen Avram. I didn't mention this Chumrah of Pina Memecham Lemecham that the Magen Avram brings down. Shem the V'lavi Hachi Yesh Deyosh Makiram B'Mecham Sheni. Anyway, a lot of people are Mekel B'Mecham Sheni, and they say it's mutter. I in Tosfos, Iran, Aken Lefini is Daiti. Poshet Yesh Litzmach Al Makili B'Bayazu. In this boy in the Gemara, it can be Mekel by Pina Memecham Lemecham. Says the Sharetzion, we're not going to be machmir like the Magen Avram. We're going to say, you pour it into a new pot, you're still allowed to put it on back onto the fire. Chazara is mutter.
That's what I was saying before. Like the Ramah doesn't speak about it. I think the way it is, the Magen Avram is learning in the Ramah,
correct.
And now we're seeing that the Mishnah Berurah is saying no.
Maybe so. Essentially, the Mishnah Berurah does not speak out that, and the Ramah didn't mention it.
Right.
He will say that. Usually says that. Every word the Mishnah Berurah is counted for.
Right.
Now, when he doesn't say that as a raya, it must be a reason why it's not a raya.
Right.
I'm not sure why. Either because the Magen Avram has mastered everything you need. I don't know. I'm surprised that Sharetzion didn't say, and the Ramah doesn't make it down Bechlal. He doesn't say that. I'm not sure why. But it would be a good raya. Why did the Ramah bring it down? But the Magen Avram says everything is included, and even Pina Mechel Mecham. So now, getting back to this case of the hot water. So you take the water from a chaynik, you put it into a cup, and now you want to put that back onto the fire. That could be Pina Mecham Lemecham. You empty the water from the chaynik, you put it into a cup, it's Pina Mecham Lemecham. Now when you're pouring it into the charm, it could be also. But there's another machlokes about Pina Mecham Lemecham, which is, let's say I pour it out from the original pot, I pour it into a new pot, and then I pour it back into the original pot. I put it back into my original pot. Can I put it back on the fire? If you hold Pina Mecham Lemecham is awesome. I pour it out from my original pot, I put it into a new pot, then I pour it back into my original pot.
You left over.
Yeah. And I want to put the original pot back on the fire. Is that called Pina Mecham Lemecham or not?
Why not? Why not? You're taking away the Mafsik Mefashal and the Nesina.
So it's the Machlokes Nachronim. That's called Pina. I think in the Shonim. That's called Pina Mecham Lemecham or not? Because it could be it's only when I'm putting the new pot on the fire.
Right.
But when I'm putting it back with the old pot onto the fire, it could be it's not Pina Mecham Lemecham.
It's the original food and it's the original pot.
So maybe it's fine.
Well, you figure
The neighbor commented this long.
No.
But again, the water cooled down.
Yeah, no.
But the water cooled down a little bit. Then you're putting it back in.
It didn't cool. So you have to let this boy. It's still Yasel this boy.
I mean, like
Right, because that would be your only problem. If you cool down in the process.
No, we're not talking about cool down.
You would have a
No,
problem.
we're not talking about cool down. So according to Mechaber, if it's not Yasel 20, you have an issue.
Right.
Let's talk about is Yasel this boy. So what happens here is taking water from your chaynik and pouring it into your cholent. The most it could be, if it's still hot, the most it could be is Pinu Memecham Lemecham. And we're making Pinu Memecham Lemecham. And even if it is Pinu Memecham Lemecham, it could be you're putting it into the cholent, it's back into a Kli Rishon.
That's only the cholent's on the fire.
And the cholent's on the fire?
So then
And you pot it on the fire.
being mounted to the fire.
So what? I'm putting it into the cholent.
But if you're chayshish for pinam mecham lamecham, then you can't put it. Meaning,
if you're chayshish for Pinu Memecham, but if it's a Kli Rishon, you're allowed to.
From Kli Rishon to Kli Rishon.
the Kli's on the fire, so you're putting it back on the fire.
Put it back into Kli Rishon. Who can do it on the fire or not? Who says the problem if the pot is on the fire? I'm putting it back into the food.
So off the fire is no problem. Fire to fire is, you say.
So like this. So Allah Lamaisa. Pinu Mecham Mecham, there's a bruise Mecham. So if you're worried about putting it into a klisheni and then putting it onto the fire, where it's Yatzel Leather's boy, if you worry about Pinu Mecham Mecham, it's not an issue. Because we hold the cooler, it's okay. So therefore you want to take hot water from your chaynik and add it to your cholent?
On fire, both on fire.
Yeah.
I'm lost here. How is it the same analogy? No, I
Pinu Mecham Mecham?
Yeah, like I understand the case you have.
The cup is Pinu Mecham. Can you take that cup and put it on the fire? You poured hot water into a cup. You want to take that cup and put it on the fire. Can you do that or not?
What, a regular cup that was on the...
No, a new cup. You take a new cup, you pour from the chaynik into a cup. Can you take that cup, put it on the fire? Chaynik is on the fire.
Okay.
You put water into the cup, let's say whatever, a ceramic cup, and you want to put that cup onto the fire. Can you do that or not? That's Pinu Mecham Lamecham.
Right. You can do.
Right.
So that's the same thing happening over here. You're basically taking that cup, putting it on the fire. You're emptying the water into the pot which is on the fire. So basically what you're doing is you're putting that cup back onto the fire.
Can you?
So if you hold Pinu Mecham Lamecham as usher, you cannot put that on the fire.
Yeah.
But if you hold Pinu Mecham Lamecham as mutter, then there's no problem putting it back onto the fire.
But if I come to you and you're doing this, you clear the water. At this moment, I come to your home and you put a new cup and you put on the fire. Says, what you doing? You're cooking the water.
Yeah, cooking the water.
I never saw what you did.
Okay, that's the make a difference. You saw. You walked in the middle, make a difference. Yeah. And not just that, there's a cool here also because you're not putting the klisheni onto the fire. You're putting it back onto a klirishon. And that could even be even a bigger cooler.
Even though it's not the same klirishon.
Even though it's not the same klirishon. Who says it has to be the same klirishon?
We saw before that you can do chazorah by different, that was a different.
We're talking about it's going for cotton, right?
It should be much to take to pour from your chaynik into a cup and change your mind and pour that right back into the chaynik again.
Right. Right, that's for sure. That's the
same idea. But even
no, if your Pinu Mecham Lamecham is also, they can't do that.
Right. But
unless the old Kli Rishon is mutter. Unless the Pinu Mecham Lamecham, you put it back into the original Kli Rishon, it's mutter.
So what's the halacha?
Pina is absurd because it's no longer shayach to the fire. It's nostalgic from the fire. So now it's Nasina Rishayna.
Yeah.
Who cares now that you're pouring it back into
the Kli Rishon? Yeah, so the machlokes of the is one svara like you were saying. Once the klisheni you ruined everything. Well, the other svara is no. I put it back in the klirishon. There's no Mexican mavashal anymore. That same klirishon is back on the fire. There's no Mexican mavashal. That's the machlokes of a klirishon.
What's the halacha?
That's what we ask.
So
Ashkenazim is fine. It's fine. They were very machmer on this. I saw on the streets. I'm not sure why.
So let's say you have a pot of food on the fire, and it's not heating up quickly enough. So now you want to, so you get a new pot out your cupboard, and you split what was in the first pot, and now you put the second pot on.
What's that? Is it cooked the food or not?
It's cooked.
Yeah.
So that's Pinu Mecham Lamecham. So even in that case, the Baruch will be
You empty it in a new pot and put the new pot back on the fire. It's Pinu Mecham Lamecham. The Baruch is Mecham.
But one of the tanoim now is no longer applicable, which we talked about, is if you take a pot, you put a gabi a karka, then you can't put it back anymore.
Right.
Is transferring from one pot to the other?
No. No, it's not a gamer karka. It's not a gamer karka.
You sure have in mind you're going to put it back.
Pino Mechel Lemechem is not a gamer karka.
There's a difference tonight, but the idea of putting it down, you're now transferring it to a new kli. That to me would be like putting it down.
Pino Mechel Lemechem is a whole different boy than the Gemara. It's not called ichel gamer karka. So that's the suga of Pino Mechel Lemechem. Even though there's no shaykhs to the seat, we do it anyway. The sheets do it here. So again, Chief Dalma is talking about both of them off the fire. The question is bishul acha bishul. Ashkenazim have nothing to worry about. Sephardim have a lot more to worry about. And then the suga Pino Mechel Lemechem. The Sephardim for some reason are very machmir, very so brought on the sheets that you can't take it even directly from the chaynik and bring the cholent pot to the chaynik and put the hot water directly into it. Also, you can't do. But there's another thing. Pouring the hot water directly into the cholent when it's on the fire,
steam coming back.
Well, you may have a different issue, which is a bishul issue. The halacha is, even though it's a special gamri, first of all, the cholent's not fully cooked, so you have to be very careful with that. The cholent's not fully cooked, you pour hot water into it, and
the whole reason.
Your problem is that
it's drying out. So you never have that issue.
No, but if it's drying out, a lot of the water is drying out, but it's not fully cooked.
Could be parts in it.
Yeah, and then you have a bigger issue because if you put the Chai speak about was to get to a Shiur Ches, just putting the cover on top of it helps it become as bashal. We're talking about when it's cooked. If it's not cooked, then you have a lot of other issues of bishul. So I didn't get involved with Chlal into the bishul problem here. We only got involved in the Chazorah problem. And the Chazorah problem is not a problem because we don't hold the Pino Mechel Lemechem is also.
So all these cases that he brings down, there should be mutter according to the Rabbi.
Correct.
Right?
Not according to the Mishnah. According to the Magen Avram, it's Pino Mechel Lemechem.
We would paskin today.
Yeah, we pass like the Mishnah and it's mutter.
And it was all these
right.
Cases. So bottom line, if you do have it, so bashal culture, okay, and you come to the Friday night, it's not like you can add water to that thing.
Correct.
And the water can be anything that's above cold.
Right.
About 40.
Anything that's above, right, according to the Mo.
Tap water.
Right. No, you can't take tap water.
That's cold.
No, you can't take tap water. It's not on the fire.
It has to be in the vashel.
It has to be that it was on the fire. Only Chazorah is mutter. You can't just take water from your sink and put it into a cholent.
So that's all.
You can take water from your chaynik, let it sit on the counter for 15, 20 minutes.
But that's the question.
And if it's lukewarm, then put it in.
Yeah.
That's
no, but that's the question. Once you put it on your counter, it's not that till hachzir.
Okay.
Then you have to make Chazorah. Hold it in your hands.
For 15
yeah.
No,
so it is Chazorah. Taking from your chaynik to the cholent has to be with Tanoi Chazorah.
Right.
Pino Mechel Lemechem, according to the Mishnah Berurah, is not one of the Tanoi Chazorah.
Right. So you still have to meet all the other criteria.
Yeah, you have to meet all the other criteria of Chazorah. For sure. Fine. Sif Hay for next week. So we start speaking out a little bit. Sif Hay is a very similar case to Sif Gimel. That you're putting it on top of a full pot. And here it's mutter l'tzina l'chatchila in Sif Hay. It's kedai. I'm not sure. I didn't see the sheet yet. I'm not sure whether they bring it down. The dogam mavava. There's a dogam mavava here. It's a little bit complicated, but it's kedai to see it. And also, it's kedai to see the bir halacha. The bir halacha on Sif Gimel. The bir halacha on Sif Gimel, it starts with Zor Shelo Yosem.
Yeah. Kaf Gimel in the middle of the page.
The bir halacha on Sif Gimel, with Zor Shelo Yosem. It's on page Kaf Gimel. There's a bir halacha here. It's very good that you see it. We're going to speak about that next week. It's very good that you see that bir halacha. That bir halacha also speaks about the stira.
Yeah,
Zor Shelo Yosem on Sif Gimel.
Okay.
It's good that you see the August Dagam Avava, and it's a different shot in the Chol to Sif Gimel and Sif Hay.